A billionaire sits in first class, but his life is falling apart because of one tiny human. Richard Whittaker, in a perfect dark blue suit, is in seat 2A. His 6-month-old baby, Emma, is in his arms, and she is screaming like the world is ending. Not for 5 minutes, not for 20 minutes, for 3 long hours. Her cry is sharp, high, and constant. It fills the whole cabin. Every single person in first class can hear it. Many of them pretend to ignore it, but their faces say the truth. Annoyed, tired, angry. Richard's own face is red, not just from stress, from shame. He is a billionaire, the CEO of a huge tech company worth billions. He controls hundreds of employees, massive deals, complex AI systems. But right now, he cannot control his own baby, and that hits one of his deepest fears. Maybe I am not a good father. Maybe I only know how to make money, not how to be human. He has tried everything. He walked up and down the aisle, bouncing Emma like he saw in movies. He gave her the bottle his wife prepared. He changed her diaper again and again in the tiny airplane bathroom. He played ocean sounds and white noise. He even held his noise-canceling headphones close to her ears with soft music. Nothing worked. The more he tried, the more helpless he felt. In seat 1A, an older businessman sighs loudly every few minutes and checks his watch in an exaggerated way. "This is why babies should not be in first class," he whispers to his wife, loud enough so Richard can hear. 2 rows behind, a stylish woman with perfect hair rolls her eyes and texts furiously on her phone. "If you can't control your child, stay home," she says to her assistant. "Some people are just selfish." Richard hears every word. Each sentence is like a knife. He feels smaller and smaller. Isn't it strange? You can have power, money, success, but one public moment, one crying baby, one situation you don't know how to fix, and suddenly you feel like a complete failure. Have you ever felt that? Have you ever been in a place where everyone is watching and you feel like you're not enough? If you have, stay with this story, because what happens next does not only change Richard's life, it will open your eyes to your own fears, your own decisions, and the doors you might miss. And before we go deeper, pause for just 2 seconds. If you like stories that expose real human emotions and real-life psychology, tap the like button right now and subscribe to this channel. I'm saying this very honestly. If you don't subscribe, you will keep getting the same shallow content that never really helps you grow, and you might miss the one story, the one idea that could stop you from repeating the same wrong decisions again and again. Now, back to the airplane. Richard isn't even supposed to be here like this. Normally, he flies alone, working on his laptop, doing calls at 35,000 feet. But this time is different. His wife, Sarah, is back home recovering from emergency surgery. She cannot take care of Emma. Richard told her, "I can cancel the London meetings." "Absolutely not," she replied. "This deal is huge for the company. Take Emma with you. You'll manage. How hard can 5 days be?" He hired an expensive nanny, but at the last minute, the nanny called, food poisoning, not able to fly. So now Richard is here, one billionaire, one baby, no nanny, and a full schedule of meetings waiting in London. For the first hour of the flight, everything felt easy. Emma slept in the first-class bassinet, while Richard read contracts and checked numbers. He even felt proud. "See, I can do this. Sarah was right. How hard can it be?" Then Emma woke up and started screaming, and never stopped. 3 hours later, Richard's confidence had completely disappeared. He is not only worried about the people around him, he is also thinking ahead. "In London, I have 5 days of important meetings. What if she cries like this there? What if I walk into a boardroom with a screaming baby? What if this whole European expansion collapses because I cannot handle my own child?"
His world of control is falling apart. What he doesn't know is that 3 rows behind him, in economy class, someone is listening very carefully. A 16-year-old boy. His name is Noah Simon. He sits in a narrow seat, legs a bit cramped, with a worn backpack at his feet. The backpack has duct tape on one side and colorful patches from math competitions sewn all over it. Noah is not rich. He comes from the south side of Chicago. He lives in a small apartment with his mother, grandmother, and 3 younger siblings. Money is always tight. His mother works double shifts as a nurse's aide. His grandmother looks after the children. 2 years earlier, his baby sister, Maya, had terrible colic. She cried for hours, day and night. They couldn't afford expensive doctors or specialists, so Noah did what no one expected from a teenager. He studied. He searched for information. He learned about infant massage, digestion, pressure points. He tested different ways to hold her, different ways to calm her. It took months of sleepless nights, but finally he found a method that worked, a special mix of pressure, posture, and calm humming. His grandmother used to say, "Noah's got magic hands. He can calm any baby." On this plane, when he hears Emma's cry, he recognizes something familiar. The pitch, the rhythm, the type of desperation. This is colic, or something like it. He looks toward the thin curtain dividing economy from first class. He knows exactly where the crying is coming from. Part of him wants to stand up immediately, but another part of him is afraid. He imagines walking into first class as a young black boy from a poor neighborhood. Will they think he is causing trouble? Will they tell him to go back to his seat? Will they treat him like a problem instead of a solution? For 2 hours, he fights with himself. He tries to focus on his math notes. This trip is not a vacation. He is going to London for the International Mathematics Championship. If he does well, he can win a full scholarship to a top university like MIT. If he fails, he feels like he is failing not only himself, but everyone who helped him. His plane ticket was paid for by neighbors, by his church, by the local barbershop, people who had little money but still believed in him. That weight sits heavy on his heart. Still, Emma's cry continues, louder and more desperate. Finally, he cannot ignore it any longer. Compassion becomes stronger than fear. Noah stands up. His legs feel weak, but he walks slowly toward the front of the plane. A flight attendant at the curtain steps in his way. "Can I help you?" she asks politely, but her body says, "You shouldn't be here." Noah keeps his voice calm. "I think I might be able to help the baby. I know this kind of crying." She looks doubtful. "Are you traveling with someone in first class?" "No, ma'am. I just have experience with babies who cry like that." Before she can send him back, Richard appears in the aisle, holding Emma. His face is pale, eyes tired. "I heard someone say they can help. Was that you?" Noah feels every eye on him, but he nods. "Sir, my name is Noah. I know I'm just a teenager, but my baby sister had the same problem. I learned some techniques that helped her. I think your daughter may have the same issue." Richard looks at him carefully. He sees the simple clothes, the old backpack, and something else. Honesty, calm, real concern in his eyes. 2 fears battle inside Richard. What if something happens to my baby? And what if I don't try and she keeps suffering and everyone keeps hating me and I still don't know what to do? Finally, desperation wins. "Okay," he whispers, "please, try." He slowly hands Emma to Noah. The cabin grows quiet, not from silence, but from pure attention. Everyone wants to know what will happen now. Noah holds Emma gently. He doesn't rush. He doesn't look nervous. He places her in a position he learned with Maya. He uses gentle pressure along her back. He starts humming a soft, old lullaby his grandmother taught him. At first, nothing seems different. But then the sound of her crying changes. Screaming becomes crying. Crying becomes soft whimpering. Whimpering becomes tiny hiccups. And then, silence. For the first time in 3 hours, the airplane is completely quiet. Emma's face relaxes. Her breathing slows. Her tiny fists unclench. She looks peaceful. The same businessman in 1A who complained about babies now watches with wide eyes. "Remarkable," he murmurs. "Absolutely remarkable." The stylish woman lowers her phone and stares, shocked. The flight attendants exchange looks of disbelief. Richard feels a wave of emotion, relief, gratitude, and something else, a deep, painful humility. A boy from the back of the plane just did what he, with all his money and power, could not. He almost wants to cry. How did you do that?"